I wanted to take a moment to show how easy it is to build your agronomic program in GreenKeeper with Program Builder. So I'm taking care of a par 3 golf course in Lincoln, Nebraska, bent POA greens, and generally my program starts with my first proxy by itself application the first week of April. And I can track when that application is due with GreenKeeper, but for now we're just going to schedule it in there and then build our program off of that. So I have an application of proxy that I already made for the 3rd. And the recommendation is to make a second application of proxy with Primo or a new at 200 growing degree days, base 0 Celsius after the 1st. I generally also like to include a DMI fungicide or a QY fungicide to control diseases like take-all, and may put a little bit of fertility in the tank to stimulate some growth. So to show how to calculate when that would roughly be, I'm going to go up to my growth tab. And so I can see a 3-month window, and here's that planned proxy application. We know it's planned because it's dotted, and we see a little bit of growth suppression from that PGR. And so the suggested application is about 200 growing degree days, which would be around the 22nd. So if I go down to make a new application, I'm going to say make a new application, and we're going to do proxy plus, we'll use a new plus take all. And quickly say who's going to tentatively make the application. And so it's said around April 22nd. That's a Saturday. So let's schedule it either for the 21st, or in this case, let's just go for the 24th and push OK. And have my sprayer set up. I know how many gallons it's going to take. So then I need to come start adding my products. So first, we definitely want that proxy in there. So we're going to search our inventory, find proxy. And it's going to tell me how many fluid ounces I need. I know that's just short of 2 gallons, so I'm going to convert this to gallons and say that I want to put in just 2 full gallons of proxy, and that's for my seed heads. And so my 1 tank is going to need 2 gallons of proxy. We'll save that. And then we're going to add a new with it. So we'll go down, grab a new. Again, it's going to say I need a little over 9 ounces for this spray at an 8 ounce per acre rate, which will give me 30% suppression. You know, I'm going to just round to a nice even number. A bag of a new is 24 ounces. Let's try to get 2 apps out of it. So let's do 24 or 12 ounces of a new. Gives us that rate there. Now, take-all control. If I want to come in, I think one of the things I'm going to do first is I have a bunch of products in my inventory that probably control take-all. So I'm going to use Application Advisor button here to help me identify which products are controlling take-all patch. And so here's a list of all the products that I have in my inventory. If I look at past applications, I can see my last application would have been Pinpoint. It was applied last September 21st. And it's a group 11 material. So I'm looking for a pest control product. My other group 11s, my Strobe, which is a generic azoxystrobin, my Headway, my Heritage, those wouldn't be great choices because I used them last time. So I'm going to use a DMI fungicide this time. I have things like Balaton, Tourney, Trinity, Pinpoint. Again, wouldn't be a good one because that's a group 11. I also have things like Mirage, Brisquet, Maxtima. So for this example, let's just grab Mirage, tebuconazole. So I can view the label to see what rate I need by clicking this button here. It opens up the label in a new tab. And so I can view down and read that label very carefully and find the rate from reading it before. I know the rate that I'm shooting for is 2 ounces. So I can come in here and put in 2 ounces. It also shows that I'm going to get 21% suppression from that Mirage application. And I can also define what pests I'm going for my record keeping. So we are going to save that. It's on a 14-day interval. That might be fine. Maybe I'm going to say stretch it out to 21 days. Your ability to change it is right there. And we'll save that product. So now we've built a spray. We have our proxy, our PGR, and our Mirage. If we wanted some fertility in there, we could always add some. For example, Eco N here from Simplot. If I wanted to put in maybe a 2.5 gallons container of that, I'm going to get an eighth of a pound of nitrogen from that application. And so now I've built that spray. It's going to be applied in the future because today is December and I'm going to do this in April. So I'm going to push apply later. And now it's going to update on my both my calendar, and I can see if I scroll along here what kind of growth suppression I'm going to get. And so if I look, I have my first amount of growth suppression from Proxy by itself. And then at 200 growing degree days, I came out with another Proxy application with Mirage plus a new, and whoa, maybe that's a lot of suppression. And so I can come in quickly and I can edit some of those fields. So does the Proxy required? Yeah, I need it for seed head suppression. Is the new? Well, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it. So let's try to find a DMI that maybe had a little bit less suppression. So we're going to delete the Mirage and let's grab something like Densicor. We're going to grab Densicor. We're going to say which rate of Densicor we want to use. And now this is only going to give us 4% suppression. So that looks a lot better. So we're going to save the application and now it's going to refresh. And we will be able to see that, yeah, we're still getting more growth suppression by early May, but not as bad as before, only 40%, which is good because as that grass is starting to come out of dormancy, that bent grass, I don't want to hinder it by putting a bunch of PGRs and DMIs down that may give the POA more of a competitive advantage because during these times of the year, the POA wants to grow. And sure, the PGRs will help keep it in check. But the bent grass really doesn't want to grow yet. And so the PGRs, the DMIs, the combinations are really suppressing that, that growth rate to a level that is actually giving the ecological advantage over the annual bluegrass. So things we think we're doing to control POA might actually be making things worse. So then I can kind of look at this chart here. Let's try to zoom in into a 2-month view and go towards this follow-up application. When would my next application of PGRs be required? What you want to generally do is look at when you start to see the suppression starting to wane, and there is some flexibility in there. You can be a day or two early or late. So it looks like somewhere around maybe May 11th, 12th is most likely when my next PGR application needs to be applied. And so I can come in, make a new application. So let's just shoot for one on May 12th. Again, we'll come in, we'll just call it a PGR app, and we're going to set that up for May 12th. So we'll come in and say what day, May 12th. When would that be? That's a Friday. Maybe that's fine. Maybe I can bump it to a Thursday. Or we could just tentatively apply it on the 15th and schedule it there. That would be good. Again, the sprayer setup, how much we're going to need. And again, we can come through really quickly, start adding our PGRs, our new, use the rate we want to use. We'll use the other half of that bag, so that's 12 fluid ounces or weight ounces. And maybe another PGR like trim it. So I got my trim it in there. And again, I can see how much suppression I can expect out of that. Not very much at this low rate. If we go to a higher rate, we'll see we'll get a little bit more suppression out of the product. And again, possibly 10 ounces of material. So really easy to quickly build a spray and then visualize how the growth suppression is going to be impacted. So we do have a little bit of a decline here. If I'm unhappy with that, if our growth rate's picking up, we might move this first application a few days earlier. So let's just do that. Let's just maybe shoot to do it on the 11th. Again, I can quickly edit these applications. We're going to move it from the 15th, which is a Monday, to Thursday, the 11th. Maybe that's easier on the golf calendar. We're going to save that. We're going to refresh the page and see, do we do a better job of keeping our growth suppression even? So let's take a look. Oh yeah, it's a lot more even. The suppression is increasing, which is generally fine because now the bent grass is starting to grow, and so I don't mind a little bit more suppression. So really, really simple and easy to quickly see how all those products are interacting to suppress growth rate, better understand what grass we're managing towards, and making sure that we're covered for all of our different types of diseases and pests. So, if you're considering using GreenKeeper this year, try a free trial, 7-day free trial. You can craft your entire agronomic program, get guidance as to what products to use, track how much fertilizer has been applied, track those growing degree days for your PGRs, and get this kind of unparalleled level of guidance when it comes to understanding how all these PGRs are working together to impact our growth rate and ultimately the performance of our turf. So check us out, greenkeeperapp.com. Register for a course and start building your 2023 agronomic program today.